Hey everybody, Chris Armiger, Fort Myers Beach Fire. Hopefully my last post in my time here at UF. If I can get through this course and the other three I signed up for this semester just so I could finish this semester, then I'll be done. So this book here, Personnel Management, HR. So a couple of the big things that I took away from this class. First of all, this class, this one, and then just as an elective, I took the terrorism class and the forensic reconstruction of arson scenes. Both of those were awesome. And the HR class, for whatever reason, I seem to like a lot too. My dad, early in his life, was an attorney, and then or was in law school. But he never became an attorney. He went to law school, and twist of fate, he wound up becoming a contractor and did that throughout his life. But he always had a legal kind of mind. And the HR book, I enjoyed reading some of that stuff because I work with I'm on my negotiation team here because we're Union 1826. So I like negotiating and I have a little bit of history with that. So this course was great for me. There were a couple things that really stood out with me. I like negotiating and the contract stuff. So the interest-based bargaining, I like that. That was one of those things for me. It was kind of like fire dynamics that we're talking about now, like the VEIS, and then the whole uh, learning fire dynamics. Those kind of concepts get water on the fire fast. You can't push fire with your hose streams, so like we don't have to worry about pushing fire through a building and all those sort of things, like the slicers. Like I remember when I was in fire school and they were teaching us, firefighter one, firefighter two, very basic stuff. Some of the things just I agreed with because I had to, and because that's what we were tested on. But in my mind, I always knew like this doesn't seem right. It seems like the first thing I should do, even if I'm outside, is put water on the fire. So when I get inside, it would just have to be better. But whatever, that's what these guys are telling me, so that's what I'm going to do. And then 10 years later, in my career, 10 years later, it's all this, slicers, hit it hard from the yard, water on fire, water on the fire. So I think a lot of the stuff in this HR book I kind of always knew, or I just kind of picked up along the way. And for me, it was a lot of just validation. So the interest-based bargaining, that was a prime example because when I started doing like on the negotiation team and working with the union closer, I never understood the traditional like oppositional bargaining. I never understood why we did that. Why, we can't come in and we have all these things that we may want, or things that we want to change, or a pay scale we want to pursue, but not have too much to back it up with, and we don't have the numbers. We got to get it from them, and we got to play this whole game about getting like the accurate numbers, and what is it that you're looking for? We got to play this whole game instead of just being forward and then working like I want to say this word right, in collaboration. So like working together to, hey, look, this is what you're here to kind of get. Like this is the outcome you're seeking. If you explain to me a little bit of the why, then maybe I can understand how we can get there together. And then, hey, this is what we're seeking. So how do we meet the most of your needs, and how do we meet the most of your goals, and at the same time doing the same thing for us? So two heads are always better than one. Two sides are certainly better than one. And then you could maybe understand better why the other side can't maybe get you what you want, or why you would be unwilling to accept something that they'd offered when it's an open forum like that. Everything is just infinitely easier, and I wish it was something that we would do. We have a new chief where I'm working, and I was hoping that that's the way things were going to go when he started. And a year later, we're in our first negotiations right now, and that's not the case at all. He seems to be he's an EFO, man. He's a young guy. He's like a 36-year-old chief EFO. He's got all the paperwork, masters, and everything, but he just doesn't. He doesn't. I don't know. He must not have read that chapter or something. So the other stuff I liked, just real briefly, was the training stuff. So um, in my time now, that's where I'm looking to go, is to become a training officer sometime in the next few years. So I loved that the text made a distinction between professional development and qualifications versus like a training officer. Training is your 9 to 5, more skill specific stuff. This is what we do. more related to JPRs, task oriented stuff like that. Throwing ladders, meeting, you know, designing a budget around what you need to do all this sort of hands-on stuff. Um, like without getting too crazy with it. But then the professional standards, um, that's a whole different thing, and that's kind of I like the distinction. I can see maybe a deputy chief or a chief officer of an organization. You have like if you were to set up a training organization from go after the semester, I would probably have a division chief or a deputy chief of professional qualifications and standards, and then have a captain under him who was more like a training captain who focused on the task-oriented stuff of fire, of EMS, of prevention, of PubMed and PIO and all those sort of things. But I love that stuff. I enjoyed those chapters very much. So it's definitely going to broaden my perspective on those things and change the way I start thinking about things in the future. Maybe the training I seek after this to kind of get ready for those promotional opportunities. And just what expectations I would have if I ever become a chief officer in the future on how I would build my organization. So good luck, everybody. I hope to see some of you at graduation. If I can get a couple more of these papers done before the 10th or whenever the deadline is, and get my butt up there and see you. So strong work and stay safe out there. We'll see you guys.